Meagan Hall was the only female among the 5 officers fired and then became the target of nationwide ridicule.
Tonight, Hall's lawyer tells News Channel 5's Nick Barris what happened was inexcusable.
And now they're suing over what they call a hostile, sexually charged work environment that victimized a rookie officer.
Meagan Hall was one of 5 officers, along with the Laverne police chief, fired last month for allegations of sexual misconduct on the job. But it was Hall, the only female and just into her 2nd year on the force, who became the face of the sexual scandal.
These predators, starting from day one, worked to break down her psychological barriers and convince her to engage in sexual activity that she didn't want to.
Attorney Wesley Clark, flanked by his client Hall, talked about the federal lawsuit they've filed naming the city of Laverne, former Sergeant Lewis Powell, former Sergeant Henry Ty McGowan, and former Police Chief Burrell Chip Davis. The lawsuit alleges the supervisors, quote, groomed Hall for sexual exploitation.
Meagan wasn't looked at like a rookie cop to be trained and promoted. She was looked at as a piece of meat to be sexualized and exploited.
The lawsuit stems from a police department scandal involving sexual misconduct both on and away from the job involving officers. There are no criminal charges.
There are going to be those who say these are consenting adults and she's trying to place the blame elsewhere.
Well, yeah, it's really easy to think that whenever you don't understand the full story.
Clark says Hall said no on several occasions, but her supervisors kept pushing until she gave in. Racked by depression to the point of considering suicide, the lawsuit says when Hall tried to end the sexual conduct, threats were made against her.
That should be disgusting and outrageous to everyone who reads this case and understands the truth of what happened here.
He constantly made sexual comments towards me, making unwanted physical contact towards me in front of others.
As we all know, we've heard the story about Meagan Hall cheating on her husband with some police officers from her department, okay? They were having sex everywhere. When I mean everywhere, I mean police cars parked inside of the job, outside of the job, at crime scenes. They were getting it in, okay? And Miss Meagan wants to now say that, hey, I was groomed. I was groomed on multiple occasions to spread my legs, to give them this hot pocket. Now look, Meagan, how are you so easily influenced and you are a police officer? Yes, she said she was the only woman that was working in the department at the time and that it felt like pressure and that she was made to do these things all of a sudden because you got caught. Why didn't you report these things before? Matter of fact, after the first cop, okay? There were more than 2 cops, 3 cops. Matter of fact, there were more than 4 cops who had a piece of that pocket. Now, all of a sudden, it's a problem because you were fired and now you want to lawyer up and sue the department because you couldn't keep them legs closed. That's not cool. This is why we have a lot of men getting in trouble for things like being accused of rape and things like that. And SA, because of the fact women will sit there and lie and act like they are the victim of certain things, knowing that they allowed these things to happen. She also stated that she had mental issues. You have mental issues. Why are you a police officer? Why did they hire you? Oh, I was a rookie. I was going through things and they knew how to play on my intelligence. If you're not that strong, you're not strong enough to fight crime. You're not strong enough to fight crime. Once again, you're not strong enough to fight crime. Why are you working as a cop in the police department if you cannot learn how to keep the vajayjay to yourself and your husband that you've been married to, okay? Not only that, her husband is sticking beside her. He is sticking beside his wife, okay? He said, I made a vow and I'm sticking to it. No one's going to take my wife away from me. We understand that, sir. But you know she had more than 5 penises inside of her at that police department. There's no telling how many times she came home, and slept with her husband or kissed him in the mouth, and he didn't even know. Okay? He didn't even know about this until she got fired. Looks like Meagan just doesn't want to take responsibility for the things that she's done in the police department. Yes, they all should be fired. Yes, if the chief, if your boss said, hey, this is a command, you need to do this. Yeah, I understand. You need to probably press charges against him or whatever. Okay, but it didn't happen that way. You were willing. Through text messages that are proven, you were willing to meet up with these police officers and have fun on the job when you should have been fighting crime. When you guys are working in certain jobs, you got to learn how to not have encounters with your employees, your co-workers, because it's not going to work. It's fun for the moment, and then it all comes to an end. Once that person wants to say something bad happens, it's over for that ass.